It all started when I was diagnosed with advanced Hodgkin lymphoma. The news hit me like a bolt from the blue. I had always been an active person, careful about my health, with regular checkups. When the doctor explained to me that there was only a small chance of survival with chemotherapy, I promised myself that I would fight with all my strength. The first step was to call my wife Lydia and our daughter Elisa, who was still a teenager at the time. I remember their silence on the phone, interrupted by sobs. I tried to reassure them, "I will do everything I can to win this battle, but I need you by my side." Lydia hugged me tightly that evening, promising me that she would never leave me alone. We were financially stable, the house was fully paid for, we had savings and a fund for Elisa's college. This gave me some peace of mind, but I knew that chemotherapy would be debilitating. The doctor himself had warned me, many marriages cannot withstand the pressure of a serious illness. Then I thought, but not mine. Chemotherapy was devastating. I would come home completely exhausted, unable to even get out of bed. Lydia and Elisa initially helped me with everything. They prepared meals, accompanied me to treatments, took care of household chores. But as the weeks went by, I began to notice a change. Their smiles became rare, their words of comfort colder. Even their presence began to wane. Elisa spent more and more time out with friends, while Lydia always seemed lost in her thoughts, often with her phone in her hand. One day, late for a chemotherapy session, I asked Lydia to accompany me. "I can't, I'm too tired." "Take a taxi," she said without even looking at me. I was speechless, but I had no alternative. I called a taxi and left alone. During the ride, the driver asked me how I was coping with the disease, and for the first time, I found myself venting to a stranger. We talked the entire way, and he left me a note with his number, telling me to call him if I ever needed a ride or even someone to talk to. That night, I found the courage to face them. Am I asking too much? Do you feel like I'm a burden? Lydia looked down and admitted, "It's not easy for us. We feel overwhelmed." Elisa also added, "I didn't expect it to be this hard." I felt a knot in my stomach. I needed them more than ever, but it felt like they were already giving up on me. I decided to look for a solution. I suggested hiring a nurse to help me, and they reluctantly agreed. The nurse, Maria, was amazing, caring, knowledgeable, and always available. Everything seemed to be improving, but Lydia was becoming more and more distant. She often went out without telling me where she was going, and when I asked her for explanations, she answered evasively. One evening she came back very late, and when I asked her where she had been, she answered brusquely, "It's none of your business." I felt hurt, but I didn't have the strength to argue. As time went by, the situation became unbearable. Lydia complained more and more often about how difficult it was to take care of me. One evening, I heard her talking on the phone to someone, perhaps a friend, saying, "I can't take it anymore, this situation is destroying me." Those words stayed with me, hurting me deeply. I had never thought that my need for help could be seen as such a great burden. One day, returning from a chemotherapy session, I found a moving truck in front of the house. Lydia and Elisa were packing up their things. "We're going to stay with my mother," Lydia said, avoiding my gaze. "Why?" "I don't understand," I stammered, fighting back tears of anger and pain. My daughter looked me in the eyes and said, "I can't live like this anymore, Dad." "I'm sorry." The bags were already packed. I tried to convince them to stay, but it was clear that they had already made up their minds. And they left. My world fell apart. Even though chemotherapy had sapped my energy, I began to regroup. My brother Antonio, who lived 3 hours away, dropped everything to be by my side. He offered to host his sister-in-law Marta, a kind woman who was going through a difficult divorce and needed a safe place. I agreed. "Don't worry," Antonio said, "Marta has a big heart. She'll help you." Marta proved to be a lifeline. She took care of the house, cooked for me, and kept me company in the darkest moments. Thanks to her help and care, the news I was waiting for arrived. I was cancer-free. The day the doctor told me, I cried for hours. It was the end of a nightmare. As the days went by, Marta began to become not only a supportive presence, but also a true friend. She encouraged me to regain my strength, to go out for short walks, and even to cultivate a few small hobbies. "You have to find a way to take back your life," she told me one day. Her words struck a chord with me, pushing me to take small steps toward a new normal. With the divorce underway, I began rebuilding my life. I moved to another city, leaving my house to Marta as a thank you for her help. I took up new hobbies, like woodworking, and began working remotely. In the meantime, I tried to make peace with myself. Even though I had won the battle against cancer, the emotional wounds were still deep. Marta, meanwhile, enrolled in a training course to become a social worker, inspired by her experience with me. "I want to help people like I helped you," she told me one day. One day, my neighbor Rosa informed me that she had seen two women hanging around my house. The description matched Lydia and Elisa. I didn't understand how they had found my new address. Rosa, a kind widow, offered to confront them for me, and I agreed. When they showed up again, Rosa opened the door and listened carefully. Lydia claimed that the house belonged to her, but Rosa replied, "As far as I know, the owner left everything to charity." "Do you have a death certificate or a will?" Lydia shouted, accusing her of being a busybody, but they eventually left. The next day, Lydia and Elisa showed up again, this time with clubs in their hands. They were breaking windows and destroying plants. I ran out to stop them. "Why are you doing this?" I shouted. Lydia replied angrily, "You abandoned us. We have nothing. Elisa can't afford college." I looked into her eyes, feeling a mixture of anger and sadness. "I abandoned you? You are the ones who left me when I needed it most. Now reap what you sowed." Her screams attracted the attention of the police, who arrested both of us. I later found out that Lydia's mother had died and that they had lost the house they lived in. They thought I was dead and tried to get at my belongings. Lydia was convicted of vandalism and attempted assault. Elisa received a lesser sentence, but our relationship was destroyed. Despite everything, I had found a new family in the people who had supported me in difficult times. This experience taught me that not everyone we call family stays by our side in difficult times. But I also learned that life can bring incredible surprises and that there are people ready to help us, even when all seems lost. Now I live a peaceful life, grateful for the second chances I have received.